I recorded audio for the next video yesterday, right? So my voice is a little strained. And then I see, oh, we've got power tonight. I should have a stream. So then I schedule the stream, right? So my voice isn't too bad. I'm ready to stream and all that. I'm like, I had to get a new phone. So I'm driving to the cell phone place. And like an idiot, knowing I'm going to stream tonight because I've already done the announcement, I'm like belting to fucking Avantasia over the radio, like at the top of my lungs, because that's a great idea. So I'm basically sitting in the car singing this at the top of my lungs.
When you open your eyes, when you gaze at the sky, when you look to the stars as they shut down the night, you know.
So I'm singing that at the top of my voice. So of course now it's like 8 p.m. and my throat is like, what have you done to me? Also, if you hear kind of background noise going on, we've got rain and wind on the way, so that's what that is. Don't worry too much. I don't even know if it'll pick up on the mic, but in case it does, don't worry about it. Okay, here we are with our boys. And I was on my way to the Normandy to kind of wrap up the prologue, but I'm actually not going to go to the Normandy right away. And the reason why is we've still got a handful of side quests on the Citadel, and it would be very weird to go on the Normandy, have the big send-off with the ship, and we get free reign to all of space, and then we immediately go back to the Citadel because we have things to do here before we leave. So we're just gonna clean up a few things, like we have to get Fist's detail, like his details from his safe, because I ran past it because it was a timed mission, because we need to give that to Emily, and there's like one or two things that I just really ran past. Rex and Garrus are two species who really do not like each other. Like, these guys come from really, like, at odds species. And I'm gonna have to explain a little bit why first, but let's get going so that I can get that info for Emily first before we get into that.
Did you find anything in his office that could help me?
These OSDs might have the information you're looking for.
You've got Fist files? This could be even bigger than I'd hoped. Here, Commander, for your trouble.
I can get more stuff for you. And I'm guessing if I say this, Shepard's gonna ask her for money.
What would my future cooperation be worth?
Yep.
Say, an interview when my investigation is over?
Exclusive? You talk to me before you talk to anyone else? That would be worth quite a bit, and I'd be very happy to compensate you accordingly. Here you are. Now, if you'll excuse me, I should go see what's on these discs.
Yeah, we are poor. We need the money right now.
Coming up in a report later today, Emily Wong investigates corruption on the Citadel.
Wow, that
covers a full-blown crime syndicate.
That took her 2 minutes to write. Holy shit. You know what I think she did? I think the second I put the OSDs in her hand, she contacted her superior and was like, I've got information, can you fill me in, like, can you fit me in for a slot in this evening's news? And he said yes, and she's just like, she's at home right this minute, frantically scrambling and writing down her script. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
If you'd like, I could talk to the Hanar for you.
I have argued with the stubborn jelly all afternoon. You are certainly welcome to try.
It would help if you'd stop, calling him a slur. That would be cool.
Do you desire to learn of the Enkindlers? Or has the Honorable CSEC officer enlisted assistance?
You're kind of causing an issue, my dude.
Is this really how you want to represent the Enkindlers?
The truth of the Enkindlers must be made known. They gave the Hanar language, and gave the universe the mass relays. This one only wishes to spread the truth to any who will listen. There is no intent to cause trouble.
Okay, good. This is why I wasn't sure if I could do this yet, because you need a certain amount of charm points to settle this peacefully without, like, an argument breaking out.
Is this how the Enkindlers would want you to use this gift of consciousness?
The Enkindlers would wish for their message to be spread to all sentient races.
I think we already know what the Protheans are, dude.
The Enkindlers wouldn't wish their message to be spread by breaking society's laws.
This one hears wisdom. Perhaps enthusiasm has clouded judgment in this matter. This one departs now, and will not intrude upon the Presidium again.
Excellent.
I see the Hanar is left. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy to help.
Here, for your assistance in this matter. Now, if you'll excuse me, I should report to my superiors.
Cool. He didn't have a name, I don't think. It's a shame Garrus didn't have anything to say about that.
My first CSEC posting was here on the Presidium. Mostly for show, not much crime up here. It never gets dark here. They keep the artificial sunlight on at all times.
That's actually not true. I'm not sure why he says that. Because they dim the lights for 6 hours every single day. So I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I think I mentioned this before when I was testing whether my laptop could stream. And I think the consensus between me and my friends was Garrus is trapped in his office all day, so he never gets to see them dim the lights. So he doesn't know that they turn it off for 6 hours every day. We're gonna go talk to Palin later, and we'll bring Garrus with us, because now that we have Garrus, he's not leaving the party again, ever. Garrus is a workaholic. He actually legit is. He hates it. He hates paperwork more than anything, but...
Got a moment, Spectre?
Hello?
Hello, Spectre. I have a business proposition for you.
Okay.
How did you know I'm a Spectre?
Word travels. Your name comes up in certain circles. I'm acquainted with a pair of powerful crime bosses. They're hiding on remote worlds, and I have the coordinates. You could do the galaxy a favor.
Oh, so... you want me to do a mob hit for you?
What kind of defenses would these two have?
I haven't the faintest idea, but they're certain to be armed. Their partnership's soured, and each believes that the other intends to kill him. They will be well prepared.
So you're obviously part of the mob yourself.
I eliminate them and then you take over and try to eliminate me. How stupid do I look?
While I appreciate your estimation of my bravado, I have no intention of attempting to murder you. You are the first human Spectre, and you are doing important work for humanity. I have no interest in red sand or slavery. Anyone who does deserves to die. Our needs are aligned.
This is such a confrontational choice, but I think I'm gonna choose it because... what's her name? Helena? She doesn't seem like an idiot, so I don't think she's immediately going to start making a scene if I push the issue.
You're obviously with them.
Yeah.
Why don't I just arrest you instead?
Arrested for what? You and I are simply having a conversation.
Fair enough.
I have excellent legal representation. Arresting me would be a waste of your time.
So she has like Disney lawyers working for her. Okay. What's your interests in this?
And what do you get out of this?
We share interests in certain cooperative ventures. But their business practices have forced me to terminate our relationship. Once they are dead, I will manage our organization in a more tasteful manner.
So what's the issue?
What crimes did these men commit?
They're red sand dealers who make victims of their customers. Those who can no longer pay are sold to Batarians as slaves. They're loathsome, hurting innocent people. They must be ended.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
If they're as bad as you say they are, they need to be dealt with.
Excellent. Here are the coordinates. When these men are dead, I will wait for you with the third set of coordinates. Goodbye, Commander. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Okay, so we'll go do a mob hit later. She mentioned red sand. Red sand is a drug. What it does specifically is it enhances biotic powers, but you know Dune, you know the spice in Dune? That's basically what red sand is. Okay, so this gentleman over here, Samesh Bhatia, he asked us to speak to a diplomat who is handling the case of his wife who was killed on Eden Prime, which is at the start of the game, and his wife's body is not being released to him, and he wants to get on with the funeral arrangements. So he's asked Commander Shepard to go check what's the holdup because he's not getting clear answers. And he said his representative is in the diplomat lounge, which is over here.
My goodness, you're Commander Shepard.
Hello.
Your activities made for quite a briefing in the diplomatic corps. Is there something I can do to assist you?
Yes. A man named Samesh Bhatia is having some trouble claiming his wife's body.
Ah, Mr. Bhatia. A good man in an understandably frustrating position. I wish I could help him. Serviceman Nirali Bhatia died on Eden Prime, as Mr. Bhatia no doubt told you. Her wounds are inconsistent with any type of weapon damage we've seen before. That is why her body is being held.
You think that her body might be dangerous or contaminated?
No, Commander. Nirali Bhatia is not dangerous. Her body is in fact extremely valuable to the Alliance. The tests we're conducting may lead to better defenses against Geth attacks. Respectfully, Serviceman Bhatia may save more lives in death than she did in life.
How long do you think this research is going to take?
This is a long-term study. I wouldn't expect the bodies to be released for a year or longer.
Okay, that's... She would have had to sign some kind of, like, disclosure agreement for this to be legal, wouldn't it?
You gotta have a lot of bodies. Can't you release one?
Very few bodies had this new type of weapon damage, and very few were in good enough condition to study. Beyond that, Commander, we need as many bodies as we can to get a reasonable sample size.
When will this research result in actual new technology?
If we're lucky, we'll actually realize usable technology from this study in a few years.
It's a tough one, but the reason why Mr. Bhatia is against this is I'm guessing there was no legal forums or precedents set to allow for this situation. Because his wife that died, she was part of the Alliance military. I don't think it's like a standard thing when you join the Alliance military. Otherwise, there wouldn't be this back and forth. It would just be like a thing of, well, she joined the Alliance military. This is what it says when you join. Join. It's part of the package. It's part of your service to mankind. But it doesn't look like that's what's going on. It sounds like they just found that she has this new kind of weapon damage on her and they just decided to keep her. It doesn't sound like there was any, like, legal precedent put into place here.
I understand what you're trying to do, but holding the body is wrong.
Commander, you of all people should understand how far we must go to protect humanity.
Not if we lose our humanity in the process. I am out here fighting to stop crap like this.
All right, Commander. You win. It was hard enough refusing Mr. Bhatia. I'm not going to risk an incident by refusing you. Tell Samesh that the body is being shipped back to Earth. I'll go now to see to it myself.
And that's kind of weird because you're like dictating what is legal to a moral standpoint, but it's not so much what's legal. It's just that if that was set into place, then everybody kind of would understand what Mrs. Bhatia had signed up for. But it doesn't sound like she had signed up for anything like this. It doesn't sound like her husband had her sign up for anything like this. It sounds like they just decided to do it, and that's kind of where the problem lies. I mean, there is a thing IRL like that for organs. Yeah, exactly. It's like, imagine you die in a car crash, and you are not an organ donor, and they just decide they're going to harvest your organs because they can. It's just, you know, there's some consent is kind of important here. I don't know what the Alliance was thinking. Yeah, me neither. The Alliance, like, we're part of it, but the Alliance is not a singular entity. There are people within the Alliance who are really good people, and there are people on the Alliance who are, like, real assholes. Have you always been Team Garrus? The only time I was not Team Garrus was the very, very first time I played. I played the second Mass Effect first because I didn't have an Xbox. I had a PS3, and the first Mass Effect was only on Xbox. So when I played Mass Effect 2 the first time, I really liked Thane. Actually, I think she's downstairs. I really liked Thane, but then I played the first Mass Effect, and that kind of made me understand why everybody liked Garrus so much. Like the slow build-up. The slow build-up is what makes it very interesting, because you don't start off and immediately he's presented to you as a love interest. So Garrus was written as a character first. He wasn't written to be romantically interesting to the player. And that's kind of what makes him as good a romance partner as he is, because he has all this complexity to his character that is completely separate from him being a romantic interest. And ironically, that makes him the best romantic interest out of all the characters. Anyway, Nelina?
Welcome. I am Nelina.
Nelina.
I don't recognize you as one of our expected clients today. Would you like me to see when the consort will be able to meet with you?
Can't I just go in?
I'm afraid not. Yeah, you must understand there are many who seek the consort services. But if you wish to leave your name, she'll make every effort to meet with you.
She sounds like she's about to welcome me to Ba Sing Se.
What do you do here, Nelina?
I'm one of the consort's acolytes. Many of the people here today will not see the consort, but they expect to be attended to just the same. It's our job to ensure that they leave contented.
What exactly do you attend to?
Well, each acolyte has her unique abilities. Some soothe with song, others with conversation. As much as possible, we seek to match the needs of our clients to the skills of our acolytes. My specialty is touch. My fingertips can find every tension point in your body and relieve it.
Shepherd.
I'd like to try out your services.
Of course you would.
Excellent. I'll add you to our client list. We should be able to see you in 3 or 4 months.
Nobody's worth that much of a wait.
Well, that's not for me to judge. I have your name and you'll be contacted. Is there anything else?
What is the consort? What does she do?
It's difficult to explain. She's many things to many people and something different for each. Some seek her for advice, some for entertainment, others still for pleasure. Most of the time, our clients won't realize what they were seeking until after she has provided it for them.
You make her sound like some kind of oracle.
No, not in the usual sense. She's merely a woman with remarkable compassion and a generous spirit. I suggest you make an appointment and see for yourself.
Well, I have, so I guess see you in like 3 months.
I think I'm done here.
Oh, well, I hope you'll return again in the future. We always enjoy seeing new clients.
Nelina.
Yes, Shaira?
Send the commander up to see me. I wish to speak with her.
Yes, of course, mistress. Huh. It appears the consort has taken notice of you. She'd like to meet with you now.
Why?
Where do I go?
Just head upstairs. She'll be waiting for you.
Shepherd shoving people out of the way 3 months later. Yeah, pretty much. So, it's not actually a brothel. It is... what's the word? It's kind of like geisha. It's kind of a mix between like a geisha house and a hostess club. Like, it's not necessarily about sex. It's about companionship, if that makes sense. Anyway, they've got a Solarian here, which is very strange to me. I mean, good for him, but it's very interesting that they have a Solarian working here.
That is close enough, Commander. I've heard a great many things about you since your arrival here in our Citadel.
What exactly do you do?
That depends on your needs. I offer advice to some, comfort to others. I have a certain problem that could use your expertise.
Maybe I can help.
I have a friend, Septimus, a retired Turian general. I won't discuss the details, but he wanted me to be more than I could be. We had a falling out. Now he spends his days in Korra's den, drinking and spreading lies about me. If you would speak to him as a fellow soldier, I believe he will listen to you and let the matter be.
What happened between you?
I respect his privacy too much to go into the details. If he wishes to tell you what happened, that is his prerogative.
What exactly do you want me to tell him?
Appeal to a sense of honor. Remind him of his position as a general. If you can convince him to stop spreading lies about me, I would be very grateful. Now I must ask you to take your leave. I have many clients waiting to see me.
Shaira is very strange. She's like really touchy, and maybe it's just me, you know, because I'm not really into that kind of thing. So immediately when she gets like all up in your business, I'm like, ugh. Can you back off a bit, please? Okay, patron. Here we go, Septimus. I like Septimus. Septimus is cool. We see more of him in the following games.
Commander, what do you want?
What's bothering you, General?
I've seen a lot of horrible things in my days, and there's only one woman in this damn galaxy that helps me forget it.
This is pathetic. What could a woman do to put you in this state?
She rejected me. Me! Septimus Oraka, General of the Turian Fleet.
I think I can see why you're upset, but spreading these lies won't make it better.
Look, kid, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but don't waste your time.
Anytime I get a chance to use a Paragon option, I'm gonna take it, because it automatically gives you Paragon points.
General, did you ever win a battle by moping in a bar?
Ha, war. That's what this feels like, all right. How did I let it come to this? So you think it's that easy? Just straighten up and act like a general?
It damn well couldn't hurt.
Huh. Maybe you're right, Commander. Shaira's worth the effort. Even if she won't have me back.
This is no place for someone of your stature, General.
All right. I'll go to her. After I've had a cold shower or two. Say, you're a bright kid. Would you be interested in earning a few extra credits?
Absolutely, I need them really badly.
What do you want me to do?
There's an Elcor diplomat out there who believes Shaira gave up his secrets. Why is that? Because I told him. Look, I just need you to convince him of the truth.
What makes you think he'll believe me?
You'll bring him proof. Take this data pad. It shows where I got my info. It will exonerate Shaira and convince the Elcor.
Who am I taking it to? And where is he?
His name is Zaltan. He's an Elcor diplomat. He's over in the embassies complaining about Shaira. Well, here's to soldiers acting like soldiers. Thanks, Commander. You know, you might make a good general yourself one day.
Garrus doesn't mince word? No, Garrus has some very strong opinions. About a lot of things, honestly. Where's Rex?
If you feel lucky, we should visit the casino over in Flux.
Maybe later. Rex, did you get stuck? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. Garrus wants to go gambling.
Strange greeting, human. This is really not a good time.
I know who revealed your secret. It was a Turian named Septimus.
Unbelieving. I know this Septimus, and he could not learn my secrets. The only way he could learn them is from the Asari consort.
Here, this should be proof enough for you.
Confused. This is difficult to fathom. If the Turian could learn this on his own, dismayed, anyone can discover my secret.
Nah, you'll be okay.
Septimus is a powerful man, and it wasn't easy for him to find.
Relieved. I suppose you are correct, human. Thank you for this information. Startled realization. I must speak with the consort. She will be most displeased with my actions. Anxious request. Please, human, if you will excuse me, I must go now.
I'm sure she'll forgive you. It was Nana's mistake.
Doubtful. Perhaps you are right, human. I can only hope so. Thankful. That was a great thing you did, Commander. Approving. You see, Din, not all humans are as you say.
Yeah, Din.
I'm sure the Earth Clan stands to profit from this in some way.
Actually, no.
Apologetic. Do not listen to my Volus compatriot. It was a good thing you did, regardless of your intentions.
Yeah, we actually don't get paid for telling Zeltan. We got paid for helping Septimus, but telling Zeltan is entirely whether we want to do it just to be nice. Hey, Shaira.
Commander, I recently received a lovely note from Septimus. Thank you for speaking with him. Even the Alcor diplomat has withdrawn his campaign against me.
It was my honor to aid you.
You are too kind, Commander, but I would not expect you to help me out of the kindness of your heart. I also have one more thing to give you, if you are interested.
I'd be honored.
I offer a gift of words, an affirmation of who you are and who you will become. I see the sadness behind your eyes. It tells a story that makes me want to weep. Pain and loss, but it drives you, makes you strong. That strength is what kept you alive when everyone around you was dying. You alone survived. You will continue to survive. This may be who you are, but it is not who you will become. It only forms the basis for your future greatness. Remember these words when doubt descends, Commander.
Thanks, I guess.
You have quite a gift, Shaira.
Thank you. Not everyone appreciates it as you do. Never underestimate the power of words. Here, Commander. In light of your efforts with the Alcor ambassador, I would like you to have this small trinket.
What is it?
A small mystery. I have never learned its use or purpose, but I sense it is time for me to pass it on. And now I must ask you to leave. I have done everything I can for you.
Okay, bye,
Remember
Shaira.
my words, Commander Shepard. They will give you strength.
And that is the last time we can speak to Shaira, because when we leave now, her door locks and we are never allowed back in here. Which is, again, very strange. Is she giving us a poem? She's basically just reaffirming my suspicions and what I stand by, in that Shepard has extreme survivor's guilt, which has manifested into a savior complex. And we'll come back to the Citadel later, because Rex and Garrus will have things to say. Like, they have a lot of opinions about this statue right here. Actually, let's hear them talk about the statue, and then I'll give you the info on the Krogan rebellions and the Rachni war later, to give context.
The statue represents what the Krogan used to be. A proud and fierce nation. Now we're just brutes for hire to the highest bidder. We've forgotten our roots.
Is that all he has to say? I thought he had like a whole conversation with Garrus. Maybe I have to talk to Garrus. Sorry, my laptop almost fell over there for a second, but it's fine, I saved it. Crisis averted. What do you have to say, Garrus?
At the time the statue was built, the entire galaxy respected the Krogan. Now they're simply hated and feared.
They won't have to put up with us for much longer, Turian. My people will die out soon enough, thanks to you.
Some would argue you brought this on yourself. It was the Krogan who started the war.
And the Turians made sure to finish it.
Mm-hmm. That was super not cool, Garrus, by the way. Wait, are the Krogan endangered? Yes, actually. And, it's to do with, like, a lot of lore. I'll talk about it when we get back to the Normandy, because there's a lot to dig up there. They're a dying species. Their population is in decline, and it's the Turians' fault, but it's also the Solarians' fault. Okay, so we go here and we'll talk to Palin.
So they finally did it. I knew one of your kind would make Spectre one day. Why did you come to see me, Shepard? Did Ambassador Udina send you?
Who are you? No, he did not.
I came on my own. I need information.
You humans are always so curious, always sticking your fingers into someone else's pie. Is that the right expression? Never mind, forget I asked. Was there something you needed, Commander?
I genuinely don't know if that's the right expression. I don't think I've ever heard that before. So you don't like specters, by the sounds of it?
What do you know about the specters?
They're the right hand of the Council, or so they like to be called. More like the underhanded side of the Council.
What do you have against the specters?
I can't abide any organization that considers itself above the law. Especially when it's left up to each individual Spectre to decide when and how to bend the rules.
Yeah, I'll call him out on it.
Sometimes you have to bend the law to keep people safe.
I've been with CSEC for 30 years. I've never had to break the law to do my job, not once. Spectres walk a slippery slope, Commander. Operate outside the law and it changes you. Look what happened to Saren.
Don't piss in my ear and tell me it's raining. I've known plenty of dirty CSEC agents.
Exactly.
There are over 200,000 CSEC agents. Some of them are going to be bad. But we don't turn a blind eye to corruption like the Spectres do.
Oh, bullshit.
We do our best to find and punish any officer who breaks the law. Spectres, they'll never come under that kind of scrutiny.
Yeah, but, like, they're kind of needed.
The galaxy needs people like that. People who do the dirty jobs.
I agree. But they need to be held to a higher standard. They need to be accountable. Saren's out of control. We both know that. But because he's a Spectre, the Council doesn't want to do anything about it.
Okay, true.
Is that the kind of person this galaxy needs?
No.
But not all Spectres are like Saren.
True. I hope that's something you'll take to heart, Shepard.
Noted. Okay, let's talk about CSEC.
Tell me about CSEC.
CSEC provides necessary police and security services throughout the Citadel. We're a civilian government agency, though many of our members have had military training. And unlike the Spectres, we work within the bounds of the law.
You say many of your members have had military training, but the majority of CSEC are Turian, which means the vast majority of your officers have had military training because all Turians have had military training.
I get the feeling you're not too fond of humans.
No, I just don't trust your kind. Not yet. You humans are eager to take all the power you can get, and you're being given a lot. If the Council wants to make humanity their new favorite pet, that's their business. But I don't have to like it.
We're not favorites. I mean, we are, but I'm gonna just choose this anyway because I like talking to Pelin.
The Council treats us like second-class citizens. We have to fight for everything we get.
Good. Then fight for it. But don't expect the rest of us to just sit back and let you take it. I'm a busy man, Commander. Are we done here?
Yeah, we're done.
I'll be going now.
Goodbye, Commander.
I like Pelin. He's an asshole, but I like him. He didn't really talk to Garrus. Apparently there's a conversation line. Oh, the boys are stuck somewhere. Oh, there they are. There's a conversation line where you can get Garrus fired. But I think, like, that's if you just straight up argue with Pelin.
Must be hard for you, Garrus, knowing that the person behind all this death and destruction is a Turian Spectre.
Saren is either a traitor or a madman. Taking him down will restore the good name of Turians everywhere.
Glad to hear it. I was losing sleep over the prospect of people not loving the Turians.
Shush. Both of you shut up. Hi, I don't want to talk. I have to talk to Udina. I can't even talk to Anderson. I have to talk to Udina.
I've got big news for you, Shepard. Captain Anderson is stepping down as commanding officer of the Normandy. The ship is yours now.
She's quick and quiet, and you know the crew. Perfect ship for a Spectre. Treat her well, Commander.
I don't want to just say like, oh, I will. What's going on?
I want the truth. Why are you stepping down, sir?
You needed your own ship. A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. And it's time for me to step down.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
Come clean with me, Captain. You owe me that much.
I was in your shoes 20 years ago, Shepard. They were considering me for the Spectres.
Yeah, Harkin told us that.
Why didn't you ever mention this?
What was I supposed to say? I could have been a Spectre, but I blew it? I failed, Commander. It's not something I'm proud of. Ask me later and I'll tell you the whole story. For now, all you need to know is, I was sent on a mission with Saren, and he made sure the Council rejected me. I had my shot. It came and went. Now you have a chance to make up for my mistakes.
Okay, cool.
I won't let you down, sir.
Saren's gone. Don't even try to find him. But we know what he's after. The conduit. He's got his Geth scouring the Traverse looking for clues.
We had reports of Geth in the Pharos system shortly before our colony there dropped out of contact, and there have been sightings around Noveria.
Find out what Saren was after on Pharos and Noveria. Maybe you can figure out where the conduit is before he does.
Yeah, what about the giant space hand that came out of the sky and dropped a bunch of Geth on our heads and turned the human colonists into abominations?
The Reapers are the real threat.
I'm with the Council on this one, Shepard. I'm not sure they even exist.
But if they do exist, the conduit's the key to bringing them back. Stop Saren from getting the conduit, and we stop the Reapers from returning.
Absolutely.
I'll stop him.
We have one more lead. Matriarch Benezia, the other voice in that recording. She has a daughter, a scientist who specializes in the Protheans. We don't know if she's involved, but it might be a good idea to try and find her. See what she knows. Her name's Liara, Dr. Liara Tassoni. We have reports she was exploring an archaeological dig on one of the uncharted worlds in the Artemis Tau cluster.
Sounds like we should head for the Artemis Tau cluster.
It's your decision, Commander. You're a Spectre now. You don't answer to us.
But your actions still reflect on humanity as a whole. You make a mess and I get stuck cleaning it up.
Fine.
I'll try not to make things any harder on you, Ambassador.
Glad to hear it, Commander. Remember, you were a human long before you were a Spectre. I have a meeting to get to. Captain Anderson can answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, bye, Udina. Okay, Space Dad is giving us the ship, and Space Dad is no longer gonna be coming with us.
Yes, Commander?
Are you okay?
How are you holding up?
Honestly, this isn't how I pictured my career coming to an end. Pushing papers really isn't my thing, but you're the one who can stop Saren. I believe in you, Shepard. If that means I have to step aside, so be it.
Before we get to that one, I just want to ask him a few more questions about the mission, then I'll press him about Saren.
Any extra intel you can give me on our colony at Pharos?
The entire planet used to be one giant Prothean city, mostly ruins now. But some of the infrastructure is still intact. The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left behind. We lost all contact with them when the Geth attacked.
What do you know about the Artemis Tau cluster?
Not much. I've never been there myself. A handful of systems with a few small, uncharted worlds, but no real colonies. Might not be easy finding Dr. Tassoni out there. My advice is to look for the world with the Prothean ruins.
What can you tell me about Noveria?
Noveria's trouble. Always has been. The whole planet's basically a center for corporations to conduct illegal research. Watch your back there, Shepard. Spectres are about the only form of Citadel authority Noveria respects. But they aren't popular.
Okay, now let's press him about Saren, because I think he has new dialogue. I'm not sure if he just repeats what he said earlier, but let's check.
I want to know the truth about you and Saren.
Oh, okay.
I want to know about the mission you were on together all those years ago.
We had intel on a rogue scientist being funded by Batarian interests. He was trying to set up a facility to develop illegal AI technology out in the Verge. Alliance Intel had done all the work, but the Council wanted a Spectre involved. We compromised. I was assigned to help Saren in his investigation. We tracked the scientist to a refining facility on Kamala. He was hidden away somewhere inside, protected by an army of Batarian mercenaries. The plan was simple. Sneak into the plant, capture the scientist, sneak back out. Quick, quiet, and a minimum of bloodshed.
This doesn't matter.
I'm guessing things didn't go as planned?
Saren and I split up to cover more ground. Then about halfway through the mission, there was a massive explosion in the refinery core. Officially, it was ruled an accident, but I think Saren detonated it on purpose to draw off the enemy guards.
How many casualties?
The explosion tore the refinery to shreds. The whole place was on fire. Black chemical clouds poured out into the atmosphere. Nobody inside survived. There was a camp for the workers and their families nearby. Between the fires and the toxic fumes, the final death count was over 500. Mostly civilians. Saren didn't care. The target was eliminated. Mission accomplished. And I ended up taking the blame. That ended all talk of me joining the Spectres.
Saren caused the explosion. How'd he pin it on you?
In his report, Saren accused me of blowing his cover. He said it was my fault the guards were ready for us. He claimed that's why it turned into a massacre. Saren's report was all the proof the Council needed to kill my chances of becoming a Spectre.
So Saren has always been a bastard.
Don't blame yourself, Captain.
I don't. I blame Saren. I think he wanted things to go bad. He was looking for an excuse to blow that refinery. Maybe he just likes the violence. Maybe he was just trying to make me look bad to keep humans out of the Spectres. If so, he pulled it off.
I'm not sure if I want to say that's not fair, because that's kind of... I mean, it's giving me the option and it's no longer down here, so it's not automatically an asshole response.
Why'd you let him get away with it?
Who do you think the Council was going to listen to? Me? Or their best agent?
Wow, Shepard!
I had a bad feeling about him right from the start. I should have been more careful. Maybe I could have stopped things before they got out of hand.
And then it's just what I said earlier, okay.
The only thing I care about is stopping Saren.
You're right. It's no good living in the past.
Okay, and that's everything we can talk to him about, so... Everybody say goodbye to Space Dad, because we're not going to see him for a while unless we come visit him. He's no longer joining us.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Bye, Space Dad. Okay, let's board the Normandy and we can finally get out of here. We will come back, but we've got stuff to do.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress.
I heard what happened to Captain Anderson. Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics. Just watch your back, Commander. Things go bad on this mission, you're next on their chopping block.
I mean, I am ready, but it does kind of suck that Anderson has been sidelined just so that I can get like a step up. It's like he's willfully putting himself down so that I can use him as the ladder to take the step. It's shitty. It's a shitty situation.
Captain Anderson should be the one in charge. It's like I'm stealing the ship from him.
Yeah, the captain got screwed. But it's not like you could have stopped it. Nobody's blaming you. Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%. Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
This is Commander Shepard speaking.
We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. I won't lie to you, crew. This mission isn't going to be easy.
For too long, our species has stood apart from the others.
Now it's time for us to step up and do our part for the rest of the galaxy. Time to show them what humans are made of.
Our enemy knows we're coming.
When we go into the Traverse, Saren's followers will be waiting for us. But we'll be ready for them, too.
Humanity needs to do this.
Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of every other species in Citadel space. Saren must be stopped, and I promise you all, we will stop him.
Well said, Commander. Captain will be proud.
The captain gave up everything so I could have this chance. We can't fail.
Yes, ma'am.
Whoop, I popped into existence there. Yay, we're finally on the Normandy. See if Presley has anything to say. Yes.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
Don't start.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, ma'am, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
Nihilus got shot in the back of the head. What are you talking about?
Speak freely, Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so. Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
How did you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were at Elysium during the Skillian Blitz. A massive fleet of alien raiders hit the colony, trying to wipe it out. They had the numbers, but their ships were no match for an Alliance frigate. It was a slaughter. We couldn't even keep track of how many ships they lost.
How'd you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Presley, unlike Ashley, Presley doesn't like aliens. He specifically doesn't like Turians. But if I remember correctly, Presley actually served in the First Contact War. So he's not racist on a personal level. He had Turians shooting at him like 30 years ago. So that's kind of his problem. And I want him to be nice, but at the same time, it's at least a little bit more understandable. And I'm going to have to explain the First Contact War. Let me see if the Codex has an entry for that, actually. We'll listen to the Codex entry, and then... Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff here. And then I can fill in the blanks if it doesn't mention anything. Timeline, here we go. So this should more or less explain things. In 2069, Armstrong Outpost at Shackleton Crater becomes the first human settlement on Luna. It is formally founded on July 24th, the 100th anniversary of the first lunar landing. 2103. Lowell City in Eos Chasma becomes the first human settlement on Mars. 2137. Eldfell Ashland Energy Corporation demonstrates helium-3 fuel extraction from the atmosphere of Saturn. Helium-3 is converted into faster-than-light travel fuel. That's what the starships use to power themselves. 2142. Construction of Gagarin Station, Jump Zero, begins beyond the orbit of Pluto. Okay. 2148. Prospectors discover the Prothean ruins at Promethae Planum on Mars. So in 2148, we found the Prothean ruins on Mars. 2149. Translation of Prothean data leads humans to the Charon Mass Relay System Alliance, founded to coordinate exploration and colonization of extrasolar worlds. So Charon, that is Pluto's moon. And in Mass Effect, we discovered, thanks to the Prothean technology on Mars, that Charon is actually a mass relay. I think it was engulfed in ice. That's why we thought it was a moon. So once we got the Prothean technology, we figured out it's actually a mass relay. And the first thing we did is we discovered that it's a way to travel to other star systems. And then the Alliance was formed to kind of put together a structure to start colonies on other planets, because the Earth was not in a great state at that point. 2151. A shipping accident at Singapore International Spaceport exposes downwind communities to containers of dust form element 0. Alliance begins construction of Arcturus Station. 2152. Roughly 30% of the children born in Singapore after element 0 exposure suffer from cancerous growths. System Alliance begins settlement on Earth's first extrasolar colony world, the planet Demeter. 2153, Commander Shepard is born! Yay! I think her birthday is the 11th of April. I can't remember if it's the 11th of April or the 14th of April. 2155, System Alliance occupies completed portion of Arcturus Station as headquarters. 2156, some children of Singapore exhibit minor telekinetic abilities. 2157, Turians encounter human explorers. First Contact War. Occupation and liberation of the human colony of Shanxi. 2158, humans learn potential of biotics. An international effort to track element 0 exposure begins. Roughly 10% of exposed children show some level of biotic ability. 2160, System Alliance Parliament formed. 2165, human established embassy on Citadel. 2170, Batarian slavers attack the Alliance colony of Mindwar. That's when Shepard was 16. 2176, Skillian Blitz. Pirates and slavers attacked Elysium, the human capital in the Skillian Verge. 2177, Thresher Moors devour the Alliance colony of Akuz. That is the colony where everybody died except Shepard. 2178, in retaliation to the Skillian Blitz, an Alliance fleet wipes out an army of slavers on the moon of Torfan. And 2183, that is the current date. So, wait, minor telekinetic abilities? Yeah. So, element 0 is an element found in very small amounts throughout the entire galaxy. And if human children are exposed to element 0 in utero, there is a 10% chance that they will be born with biotic abilities, which is basically the Force, but without the religious side of things. They can do telekinetic things. And Caden is actually a biotic user. We'll go talk to him and he'll explain the biotics a little bit more. So, Asari, which are the blue ladies, they naturally are born with biotics. Just all of them. All Asari have biotic powers. I think Rex has biotic powers as well. Garrus does not. Garrus doesn't have biotic powers, and I don't have biotic powers, and Ashley doesn't have biotic powers. So it depends. All Asari have it, but when it comes to other species, it depends who it is. And it's entirely based on who gets exposure to element 0 in the womb. And even then, it's not like a surefire thing, and there is a chance that you will develop cancer before you're even born. So it's not exactly recommended. Okay, so the First Contact War. Here we go.
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians were invited to join the Citadel Council to fulfill the role of galactic peacekeepers. The Turians have the largest fleet in Citadel space, and they make up the single largest portion of the Council's military forces. As their territory and influence has spread, the Turians have come to rely on the Solarians for military intelligence and the Asari for diplomacy. Despite a somewhat colonial attitude towards the rest of the galaxy, the ruling hierarchy understands they would lose more than they would gain if the other two races were ever removed. Turians come from an autocratic society that values discipline and possesses a strong sense of personal and collective honor. There is lingering animosity between Turians and humans over the First Contact War of 2157, which is known as the Relay 314 incident to the Turians. Officially, however, the two species are allies, and they enjoy civil, if cool, diplomatic relations.
Okay, so it doesn't really explain. I'm just going to have to explain the First Contact War as best I can. So what happened was, humanity had not had any contact with aliens, but they discovered the mass relay, which is the moon of Pluto. And they turned it on, and they started using it to explore systems outside of our solar system. So what happened was the Turians came into contact with humanity, and they saw them just turning on mass relays and using them without knowing where the mass relay was going to shoot them to. And the Turians stepped in, as Turians do, because they're a military nation, to kind of just stop humans from just jumping with these mass relays without knowing where they were going, because of the Rachni Wars, which I'll explain in a little bit. And because the Turians responded with a military occupation, humanity thought they were under an alien attack, because they basically were, but they saw it as an act of war. So humanity retaliated. And the thing is, the Turians did not expect humanity to have as large a navy as it did. So it broke out into all-out war. And humanity was able to stop Turian occupation, but Turians managed to invade and occupy Shanxi, which I believe is a colony. And they occupied Shanxi, which I think Shanxi surrendered to the Turians due to fire. Because the thing is, what you must understand about Turians are motherfuckers who will literally throw asteroids onto your planet as an act of war. They are the kind of guys who will kamikaze their ships into you. They will throw asteroids at your planet. They don't play around when it comes to warfare. So Shanxi surrendered to the Turians and was then liberated, because what happened was, as this war was accelerating, eventually the council noticed, and the council stepped in and said, hey, what the fuck are you two guys doing? What the hell is going on? And that's kind of where it came out that this is a new species. They were using mass relays just willy-nilly. They were opening them up all over the place, not checking where it was connecting to, and we stepped in to stop them. And the humans were like, yeah, they stepped in to stop us with military strength. So the council basically just had to put out all these fires and clear up the confusion that was going on, and that's how both species are now allies. So this entire war happened because of miscommunication and misunderstanding. So that's the first contact war. Obviously, that's why the Turians refer to it as the Relay 314 incident. They don't even refer to it as a war. And one of the reasons they don't refer to it as a war is because they actually kind of got their asses kicked, which they did not expect, and it's really embarrassing for them. So they refer to it as an incident, whereas humanity refers to it as the first contact war. And that's kind of why Turians and humans, they're allies, they get along, but on a personal level, they tend to be very suspicious of each other. And the Normandy is actually a joint venture. The Normandy was designed both by humans and Turians. So the Normandy is kind of a bridge. It's a show of good faith between the two species that we're putting behind this giant misunderstanding behind us. We are allies now. Let's please stop being so suspicious of each other. What is he even doing? I've never, what are you doing?
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
How well do you know the Lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission. But he has an impressive service record. Over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, most biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenko was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Caden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
How did you end up serving on an Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of med school. Earth always seemed boring to me. Too safe, too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls. Turns out military life isn't quite as romantic as I'd imagined. But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse, and the Alliance always needs good doctors. So I stayed on to do my part.
Ever think you made the wrong choice?
Sometimes I think about opening a private practice back on Earth. Or maybe taking a position at one of the new med centers out in the colonies. But there's something special about working on soldiers. If I left the Alliance now, I'd feel like I was abandoning them.
I should go.
So what the Rachni's wars are is many thousands of years ago, the council was trying to expand council space. So they were doing what the humans were basically doing, which they would open up mass relays and they would just turn them on without knowing what its sister relay was opening up to. And what happened as a result, it opened up to a system where an insect race known as the Rachni lived, and the Rachni turned out to not be friendly. And how the Rachni work is, because they're an insect race, they work as a hive mind. So to kill the Rachni, you'd have to try and get to their queens who live underground on their home planets. And the council was essentially fighting a losing war. And that is until they found this planet which had the Krogans on it, which is Rex over here. And what happened is they essentially uplifted the Krogans to be a spacefaring species so that they could use the Krogan to fight the Rachni. Because the Krogan have a very specific biology that makes them like really good for fighting the Rachni specifically. And it was only because of the Krogans that the Rachni were beaten, and eventually the Rachni were completely exterminated. Rachni are extinct in the galaxy these days. And so to thank the Krogans, the council gave them worlds to spread to colonize and expand their territory. But Krogans, because they come from a hell world, they have an insanely good birth rate once you remove them from the hell world. So they filled up their colony worlds with populations way too quickly, and then they started conquering other worlds around their colonies, even if those worlds were already occupied by other species. And the council told them to cut that out, and the Krogan were like, make us. And the council didn't know what to do, and this started the Krogan rebellions, and that lasted for way too long. And then as a result, the Turians contacted the Solarians to manufacture a bioweapon. And Rex will tell us about that more. And it's because of this bioweapon that Krogan are now a declining race. Their birth rate is now exceptionally low. So most Krogan are just kind of defeated. They're very like, what's the point? So they just work as mercenaries and grunts and things. They don't really have an interest in bettering their species because they feel there's no point to it, because they're slowly becoming extinct anyway. And that is why when we started opening up relays just all over the galaxy without any kind of focus, that's why the Turians stepped in so quickly to be like, hey, stop that, is because they've already had to deal with a lot of shit because of this. Anyway, let's talk to Rex, and then we'll talk to the other members.
Nice ship you got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
Oh, come on.
You Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
I heard about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
It seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
I suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
You ask a Krogan. Would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
So that's kind of the situation, and that's why Rex gives Garrus a lot of shit. Hey, Garrus.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
Garrus, we're gonna have to have a little talk with you to sort you out. Collateral damage is bad.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
Collateral damage is bad, Garrus.
If getting the job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
That's right. You listen. I forgot how much of, like, a baby Garrus is in the first game. He's such a child. Garrus is 24, and he's sheltered as shit. Basically, Garrus's dad was a CSEC cop, and Garrus grew up on Palaven, which is his homeworld, and then immediately went into CSEC, which is the Citadel. So basically all Garrus has known his whole life is the extremely Turian homeworld, and then the majority Turian CSEC. And he grew up with a cop for a dad. So Garrus has, like, I saw somebody on Tumblr describe it as government-funded schooling. But we'll sort him out, no worries. We'll yell at him a few times and he'll stop thinking it's okay to shoot civilians. Okay, we'll learn a bit more about the Normandy.
Fill me in on the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation. Too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space. Most vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster-than-light travel?
Cranking up the FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Where else have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
I had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla, grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials?
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
So you fucked around and found out.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in the group, the smarter they are.
So there's some sort of group consciousness?
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
I don't get it. I think I do. It's like... In animation, if you work in 3D animation or game design, there's something called setting up a render farm, where you basically have your computer, but you daisy chain other computers to your computer so that you could use their processing power to render faster. That's kind of, it's kind of like that. So I kind of think I know what she means, but I don't think Shepard understands.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably oversimplifying. The Geth are incredibly advanced and complex creations. All you need to know is that they get smarter when they gather in large numbers. As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
So once again, you fucked around and found out.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exile, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Yeah, Tali, I love you, but you were kind of in the wrong in this situation.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them.
No, you did.
If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
Let's talk about the pilgrimage instead, because I don't really have the opportunity to tell Tali what I actually think of the whole gift situation, but I think if I did, she would get really angry with me.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet. But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out alone, leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Can a captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society. Even when a gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey. We also receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
I want to talk about something else.
Like what?
Okay, I think that's everything. Bye, Tali.
I should go.
Okay, now we can talk to Joker, and then I think we've spoken to... Oh, we haven't spoken to Ashley. Let's talk to Joker first, then we'll go talk to Ashley, and then we'll get off the Citadel. Because Joker is an amazing character. He doesn't have a lot to say in the first game, but we get to know who he is at least.
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
I'm sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though.
Well, no need to get
I can
snappy.
do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
You're dodging the question.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
Yeah, so Joker is disabled. Hi, Ashley.
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
They have flashlight heads, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
I mean, she's not wrong. Okay, good. She doesn't actually have anything to say.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Okay, bye, Ashley. Okay, let's get the Normandy off the Citadel. Okay, so if you've never played Mass Effect, I'm about to show you how the space travel works. But first we're going to read the Codex, or the info for the Citadel. And yes, I am going to read the info for every planet we see, because even the ones you can't go to have exceptionally interesting lore to them, which actually, like, has purpose to it. Supposedly constructed by the long-extinct Protheans, this colossal deep space station serves as the capital of the Citadel Council. Gravity is simulated through rotation and is a comfortable 1.02 standard Gs on the wards and a light 0.3 standard Gs on the Presidium ring. Okay, then total length, almost 45 kilometers, good lord. Diameter, 12 kilometers. Population, 13.2 million, not including keepers. Okay, we don't need the weight. So this is how the travel system works. So this is the Citadel. This is how we jump from system to system within a cluster. There aren't any other systems within this cluster. This is how we jump from cluster to cluster within a nebula. And this is the galaxy. I'm gonna get Liara first. This line here, this is what the Mass Effect, this is what the mass relays do. You can see the mass relay from the Citadel jumps to asteroid X57, which jumps to the Hades Gamma system, and that jumps to the Gemini Sigma, not system, cluster, sorry. Okay, we'll start here and we'll work our way around. Petavig. Petavig is the second of the Macedon system's giant terrestrial planets, and by far the more interesting. Most of the surface is covered by a vast sea of liquid ammonia, in which a unique aquatic ammonia-based biosphere has developed. While the frozen continents are largely bereft of life, a rich bounty of complex organisms, many larger than a human, flourish in the chilly toxic seas. While dreadfully inhospitable to humans, Petavig is suitable for colonization by the Volus. Negotiations between the System Alliance and the Volus' patrons, the Turian hierarchy, have made good progress. Okay, this is a warning. We can actually land on this one, but I'm not sure why we would want to do that right this minute. Sharjila has a very dense atmosphere of ammonia and oxygen. Its temperature surface is mainly composed of alumina with deposits of sulfur. Com buoys in the system have recently logged a number of unregistered vessels operating nearby. Sharjila has an extensive silicon-based oxygen-breathing ecology. Heavily populated areas are covered with fine silicon dioxide dust, the respiratory byproduct of the world's higher animal forms. High-speed surface winds, often laden with abrasive silica dust, present a hazard. In areas where the wind deposits a great deal of silica, footing can be treacherous. EVAs are discouraged. Okay, and there's no population. I'm not going to land on it right now. Any sign of Liara in that one? Athens. Like the Hanar homeworld, Proteus has more than 90% oceanic cover. The incredible heat thrown off from Athens raises global humidity to 100%, creates constant cloud cover, and powers colossal typhoons that rage across the surface year-round. Hot, humid, and storm-racked, the Proteus' rare combination of oxygen, nitrogen, atmosphere, and carbon-based biosphere nevertheless recommend it for colonization. A pilot program is studying the possibilities of colonies below the ocean surface, safe from the worst effects of the weather. Colony founded 2179, population 12,470. Okay, next one. Knossos. Armeni is a terrestrial world with an unusually thin atmosphere of krypton and xenon. Its surface is composed of silica with deposits of carbonaceous materials. The initial flyby probe of Armeni detected multiple areas at the equator with oddly regular surface protrusions. Closer investigation revealed these are millions of elaborate crypts a few meters below the surface, left by a long extinct spacefaring species called the how do you say that? Ziof? I have no idea how to pronounce that. Many human universities wish to perform archaeological excavations. Council law holds grave sites as sacrosanct, however, and the matter has been tied up in court for a decade. Yeah, I don't know why you would want to excavate it. I mean, it's cool, but is there a specific reason why you want to excavate it specifically? Therum. Oh, we can land on Therum. Oh, here we go. Therum is a distant but rich industrial world claimed by the Human System Alliance. Its plentiful heavy metals have fueled the recent manufacturing boom on Earth. Core samples rich with the fossils of simple silicon-based organisms indicate Therum was more hospitable in the past than it is at present. Perhaps this explains the many Prothean ruins dotting the surface, most of which have been looted by mining corporations. Colony founded 2167 and population 34,000. Okay, so this is where we're gonna find Liara. As I was saying, I would like to welcome everyone new to Mass Effect to the Mako. Welcome to the best and worst thing of these video games. Oh, we've got a lot of
Only a fool punches a man in the mouth. We should sneak around and pull its tail.
Agreed. Hold on. Oh, I love the Mako. It steers like shit. Yeah, the first in the trilogy is the weakest in the trilogy, which I mean is fine. If you have to have the weakest in a trilogy, having it be the first game isn't that bad, you know. And it's not even that this game is bad, it's just that I started with the second one, so it's difficult to work backwards. But I appreciate this game. I genuinely like this game a lot. It's just Rocket Trooper. Anyway, like I said, I like this game. It's just rough because I know how good the games get after this. So anything that may look scuffed in this game, I get like really defensive because I'm like, I know, but it gets better, I promise. When it's not even that bad a game. Oh, here we go, okay. Okay, moving forward. Actually, let me save because I remember the upcoming fights being really difficult early game. Can I not select art? What are you wearing? Are you not wearing anything? Remind me to go buy Garrus some armor, because apparently he's not wearing any of it. And that's why it's annoying. Oh, damn it. Direct hit. Okay. And Garrus is instantly dead. Excellent. Jeez. Okay, now... Send you back in? You took a shot at the beginning of the fight and instantly died. Okay, thankfully, I don't think anything else on this mission is quite as annoying as the armature. I appreciate the thought, Rex, but shooting the rock does not actually help the situation. Actually, does killing these bozos give you cooldown cells or whatever which give you guns faster cooldown? No. Oops. Okay, off the elevator. Thank you. No, it does in the second and third game. In the first game, they're basically just an obstacle that you have to get rid of. Yep.
Hello? Could somebody help me? Please? Can you hear me out there? I'm trapped. I need help.
Hi.
Are you okay? What happened to you?
Listen, this thing I'm in is a Prothean security device. I cannot move, so I need you to get me out of it, all right?
So we're here because Liara is Benezia's daughter. I don't know if I want to straightforward confront her with that when she's like trapped in a stasis field begging for help. That kind of seems mean, but also it would be stupid not to mention it, because it just seems like it would be a better idea to find out where she stands with Benezia right off the bat before we decide to free her and whatever. It makes more logical sense. It makes me feel bad, but it makes sense.
Your mother is working with Saren. Whose side are you on?
What? I am not on anybody's side. I may be Benezia's daughter, but I'm nothing like her. I have not spoken to her in years. Please, just get me out of here.
Okay.
We just need to figure some way past this energy field.
It's a Prothean barrier curtain. I knew it would keep me safe from the Geth. When I turned it on, I must have hit something I wasn't supposed to. I was trapped in here. You must get me out, please.
We'll find some way to help you.
There is a control in here that should deactivate this thing. You'll have to find some way past the barrier curtain. That's the tricky part. The defenses cannot be shut off from the outside. I don't know how you'll get in here. Be careful. There is a Krogan with the Geth. They have been trying different ways to get past the barrier.
I'm sure we can figure something else. Just hang tight, I guess. Okay, let's turn on this giant mining laser. That should do the trick. Ah, there we go. There we go, instant door.
Oh, how did you get in here? I didn't think there was any way past the barrier.
Don't worry about it.
We have to get you out of here before more Geth arrive.
Yes, you're right. I've seen enough of them to last a lifetime. That button should shut down my containment field.
Good job.
Any idea how we get out of this place?
There is an elevator back in the center of the tower. At least I think it's an elevator. It should take us out of here. Come on! I still cannot believe all this. Why would the Geth come after me? Do you think Benezia's involved?
Saren's looking for the conduit. You're a Prothean expert. Obviously, he wants you to help him find it.
The conduit, but I don't know.
What the hell was that?
These ruins are not stable. That mining laser must have triggered a seismic event. We have to hurry. The whole place is caving in.
It's fine.
Joker, get the Normandy airborne and lock in on my signal. On the double, mister!
Aye, aye, Commander. Secure and away. ETA 8 minutes.
If I die in here, I'll kill him.
I can't move when the elevator's moving, so it's kind of weird. Ah, there he is.
Surrender. Or don't. That would be more fun.
In case you didn't notice, this place is falling apart.
Exhilarating, isn't it? Thanks for getting rid of those energy fields for us. Hand the doctor over.
Whatever it is you want, you are not getting it from me.
She'll stay with us, thanks.
Not an option. Saren wants her, and he always gets what he wants. Kill him. Spare the Asari if you can. If not, doesn't matter.
Okay, here we go. Cover. Do not charge me, I swear. Do not charge me. Charging! Run away! Ah, he got me. Damn it! Okay, we've almost got him, actually. Yes! Ah! Oh, no, he's regenerating. Ah, thank you. Stupid Krogan biology.
Too close, Commander. 10 more seconds we would have been swimming in molten sulfur. The Normandy isn't equipped to land in exploding volcanoes. They tend to fry our sensors and melt our hull. Just for future reference.
We almost died out there, and your pilot is making jokes?
Leave Joker alone. He's allowed to make jokes.
Joker pulled our asses out of there. I think he's earned the right to a few bad jokes.
I see. It must be a human thing. I don't have a lot of experience dealing with your species, Commander. But I am grateful to you. You saved my life back there, and not just from the volcano. Those Geth would have killed me or dragged me off to Saren.
What did Saren want with you? Do you know something about the conduit?
Only that it was somehow connected to the Prothean extinction. That is my real area of expertise. I have spent the past 50 years trying to figure out what happened to them.
Just how old are you exactly?
I hate to admit it, but I am only 106.
Damn! I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
A century may seem like a long time to a short-lived species like yours. But among the Asari, I am barely considered more than a child. That is why my research has not received the attention it deserves. Because of my youth, other Asari scholars tend to dismiss my theories on what happened to the Protheans.
Yeah, so... have you ever seen the movie Tetsuo the Iron Man?
I've got my own theory on why the Protheans disappeared.
With all due respect, Commander, I have heard every theory out there. The problem is finding evidence to support them. The Protheans left remarkably little behind. It is almost as if someone did not want the mystery solved. It is like someone came along after the Protheans were gone and cleansed the galaxy of clues. But here is the incredible part. According to my findings, the Protheans were not the first galactic civilization to mysteriously vanish. This cycle began long before them.
How do you know this? I mean, we barely know anything about the Protheans.
Where'd you come up with this theory? I thought there wasn't any evidence.
I have been working on this for 50 years. I have tracked down every scrap and shred of evidence. Eventually, subtle patterns start to emerge, patterns that hint at the truth. It is difficult to explain to someone else. I cannot point to one specific thing to prove my case. It is more a feeling derived from a half-century of dedicated research. But I know I'm right, and eventually I will be able to prove it. There were other civilizations before the Protheans. This cycle has repeated itself many times over.
If the Protheans weren't the first, then who was?
I don't know. There is barely any evidence on the Protheans, even less on those who came before them. I cannot prove my theory, but I know I am right. The galaxy is built on a cycle of extinction. Each time a great civilization rises up, it is suddenly and violently cast down. Only ruins survive. The Protheans rose up from a single world until their empire spanned the entire galaxy. Yet even they climbed to the top on the remains of those who came before. Their greatest achievements, the mass relays and the Citadel, are based on the technology of those who came before them. And then, like all the other forgotten civilizations throughout galactic history, the Protheans disappeared. I have dedicated my life to figuring out why.
They were wiped out by a race of sentient machines, the Reapers.
The Reapers? But I have never heard of. How do you know this? What evidence do you have?
Do you think it's frustrating to be Liara? You're seen as a child by your own species. So they don't take you seriously because they think you're like really, really young and inexperienced. And then you have a human like Shepard who is 28 years old. She's literally a quarter of Liara's lifetime. And she's like, oh yeah, I have all this information. Do you think it's frustrating? Do you think that like upsets her at all?
There was a damaged Prothean beacon on Eden Prime. It burned a vision into my brain. I'm still trying to sort out what it all means.
Visions? Yes, that makes sense. The beacons were designed to transmit information directly into the mind of the user. Finding one that still works is extremely rare. No wonder the Geth attacked Eden Prime. The chance to acquire a working beacon, even a badly damaged one, is worth almost any risk. But the beacons were only programmed to interact with Prothean physiology. Whatever information you received would have been confused, unclear.
That's one way to put it.
I am amazed you were able to make sense of it at all. A lesser mind would have been utterly destroyed by the process. You must be remarkably strong-willed, Commander.
This isn't helping us find Saren, or the conduit.
Shut up, Caden.
Of course, you're right. I am sorry, my scientific curiosity got the better of me. Unfortunately, I do not have any information that could help you find the conduit, or Saren.
So, fun detail in a meta sense about Caden interrupting Liara there when she started talking about how awesome she thought I was. If you're playing as male Shep, Ashley is the one that interrupts Liara. So, that little interrupt is 100% Caden being a jealous asshole.
I don't know why Saren wanted you out of the picture, but I think we'll be a lot better off if we bring you along.
Thank you, Commander. Saren might come after me again. I cannot think of anywhere safer than here on your ship. And my knowledge of the Protheans might be useful later on.
And her biotics will come in handy when the fighting starts.
Good to have you on the team, Liara.
Thank you, Commander. I am very grateful. Oh, I am afraid I am feeling a bit lightheaded.
When was the last time you ate, or slept? Dr. Chakwas should take a look at you.
It is probably just mental exhaustion, coupled with the shock of discovering the Protheans' true fate. I need some time to process all this. Still, it could not hurt to be examined by a medical professional. It will give me the chance to think things over. Are we finished here, Commander?
We can talk again after you've seen the doctor. The rest of you, dismissed.
Mission reports are filed, Commander. You want me to patch you through to the Council?
Yeah, I guess we should.
Patch him through, Joker.
Setting up the link now, Commander.
We've received your report, Commander. I understand Dr. Tassoni is on the Normandy.
I assume you're taking the necessary security precautions.
Yeah, calm down, Spiritus. It's fine.
Liara's on our side. The Geth were trying to kill her.
Benezia would never allow Saren to kill her daughter.
Maybe she doesn't know.
Or maybe we don't know her. We never expected she could become a traitor.
At least the mission was a success.
Apart from the utter destruction of a major Prothean ruin. Was that really necessary, Shepard?
Define necessary.
The Geth were crawling all over those ruins. We were lucky to make it out alive.
Of course, Commander. The mission must always take priority.
Good luck, Commander. Remember, we are all counting on you.
Yeah, now they're counting on me.
The Asari were the first species to discover the Citadel. When the Solarians arrived, it was the Asari who proposed the establishment of the Citadel Council to maintain peace throughout the galaxy. Since then, the Asari have served as the mediators and centrists of the Council. An all-female race, the Asari reproduce through a form of parthenogenesis. They can attune their nervous system to that of another individual of any gender and of any species to reproduce. This capability has led to the unseemly and inaccurate rumors about Asari promiscuity. Asari can live for over 1,000 years, passing through 3 stages of life. In the maiden stage, they wander restlessly, seeking new knowledge and experience. When the matron stage begins, they meld with interesting partners to produce their offspring. This ends when they reach the matriarch stage, where they assume the roles of leaders and counselors. The second species to join the Citadel, the Solarians, are warm-blooded amphibians with a hyperactive metabolism. Solarians think fast, talk fast, and move fast. To Solarians, other species seem sluggish and dull-witted. Unfortunately, their metabolic speed leaves them with a relatively short lifespan. Solarians over the age of 40 are a rarity. The Solarians were responsible for advancing the development of the primitive Krogan species to use as soldiers during the Rachni Wars. They were also behind the creation of the genophage bioweapon the Turians used to quell the Krogan rebellions several centuries later. Solarians are known for their observational capability and non-linear thinking. This manifests as an aptitude for research and espionage. They are constantly experimenting and inventing, and it is generally accepted that they always know more than they are letting on. Yes. 50,000 years ago, the Protheans were the only spacefaring species in the galaxy. They vanished in a swift galactic extinction. Only the legacy of their empire remains. They are believed to have built the mass relays and the Citadel, which have allowed numerous species to explore and expand throughout the galaxy. Prothean ruins are found on worlds across the galaxy. While surprisingly intact for their age, functioning examples of Prothean paleotechnology are rare. Time and generations of looters have picked their dead cities and derelict stations clean. Some believe the Protheans meddled in the evolution of younger races. The Hanar homeworld of Kaje, for example, shows clear evidence of former Prothean occupation. The presence of a former Prothean observation post on Mars has caused a rebirth of interventionary evolutionists among humans. These individuals believe the god myths of ancient civilizations are misremembered encounters with aliens.
Great. So the Protheans kicked off another batch of like ancient alien motherfuckers. Great. That's fantastic.
In the early 2160s, the Alliance began aggressive colonization of worlds in the Skyllian Verge, much to the dismay of the Batarians, who had been developing the region for several decades. In 2171, the Batarians petitioned the Council to declare the Verge a zone of Batarian interest. The Council refused, however, declaring unsettled worlds in the region open to human colonization. In protest, the Batarians closed their Citadel embassy and severed official diplomatic relations with the Council, effectively becoming a rogue state. They instigated a proxy war in the Verge by funneling money and weapons to criminal organizations, urging them to strike at human colonies. Hostilities peaked with the Skyllian Blitz of 2176, an attack on the human capital of Elysium by Batarian-funded pirates and slavers. In 2178, the Alliance retaliated with a crushing assault on the moon of Torfin, long used as a staging base by Batarian-backed criminals. In the aftermath, the Batarians retreated into their own systems and are now rarely seen in Citadel space.
We haven't met any Batarians yet, but the slavers that attacked Shepard's colony where she grew up and killed her family, they were Batarian slavers. And that's why they attacked Shepard's colony. And it kind of sucks because the Batarians are kind of in the council's in the wrong here, I feel. Because the Batarians have been like terraforming those worlds for decades. And then the humans come along and they just start colonizing these worlds that the Batarians have been working on for decades. And the Batarians go to the council and they're like, hey, we've been working on these worlds for decades now. And then the humans show up and they just colonize them. You have to put something in place that says these are Batarian, you know, we've got dibs. And the council is just like, nah, nope. Nope, the humans are allowed to settle. It's very unfair. And this is what I was saying in the first part, where I was saying I genuinely agree with the council, but I'm also not naive, and I'm very aware that the council plays favorites and that they are very, like, not out for themselves, but they're very opportunistic in what benefits them the most. So it sucks. So the Batarians are kind of on the losing end here, and I think in the wrong, but as a result, the Batarians have reduced to like mass slavery, specifically of human colonies, to the point that they killed all of Shepard's family and orphaned her. So it's just a really sucky situation overall.
The Krogan evolved in a hostile and vicious environment. Until the invention of gunpowder weapons, eaten by predators was still the #1 cause of Krogan fatalities. Afterwards, it was death by gunshot. When the Solarians discovered them, the Krogan were a brutal, primitive species, struggling to survive a self-inflicted nuclear winter. The Solarians culturally uplifted them, teaching them to use and build modern technology, so they could serve as soldiers in the Rachni War. Liberated from the harsh conditions of their homeworld, the quick-breeding Krogan experienced an unprecedented population explosion. They began to colonize nearby worlds. Even though these worlds were already inhabited, the Krogan rebellions lasted nearly a century, only ending when the Turians unleashed the Genophage, a Solarian-developed bioweapon that crushed all Krogan resistance. The Genophage makes only 1 in 1,000 pregnancies viable, and today the Krogan are a slowly dying breed. Understandably, the Krogan harbor a grudge against all other species, especially the Turians.
We'll talk about the Genophage next time because I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the Genophage in a historical context. In the current year of the game, it is definitely in the wrong. Like, the Genophage as it exists right now is an injustice and a terrible thing. But as far as it applies to was it the right decision to make at the time when they made it, I can never decide how I feel about that. But like I said, I'm really tired, so we'll go into that, I don't know, maybe next time or a future time.
Driven from their home system by the Geth nearly 3 centuries ago, most Quarians now live aboard the Migrant Fleet, a flotilla of 50,000 vessels ranging in size from passenger shuttles to mobile space stations. Home to 17 million Quarians, the flotilla understandably has scarce resources. Because of this, each Quarian must go on a rite of passage known as the pilgrimage when they come of age. They leave the fleet and only return once they have found something of value they can bring back to their people. Other species tend to look down on the Quarians for creating the Geth and for the negative impact their fleet has when it enters a system. This has led to many myths and rumors about the Quarians, including the belief that underneath their clothes and breathing masks, they are actually cybernetic creatures, a combination of organic and synthetic parts.
It's always interesting when you have those messed up situations where you can see both sides and not fully agree with either side. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Mass Effect. There's a lot of that where both sides have a good point, but neither side is innocent or in the right. It's very frustrating.
After the Geth secure a location, they round up and impale dead and living bodies on mechanical spikes. The spikes rapidly transform these victims into withered husks, extracting water and trace minerals, and replacing them with cybernetics. The cybernetics reanimate the lifeless flesh and tissue, transforming the bodies into mindless killing machines. Some Alliance soldiers refer to the husk-generating spikes as dragon's teeth, a reference to the mythological berserkers who sprang up from the earth wherever the teeth of the dragon Eris were planted. Dragon's teeth and husks bear little resemblance to other pieces of Geth technology. No one is sure why a synthetic race would bother to drain the minuscule amount of recoverable resources from organic corpses, though the value of reusing them as shock troops is obvious.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna call it there for today. Let me just save. And then I'll let you guys know when I stream again. I'm gonna try and aim for Sunday. I don't know what the electricity is going to do Sunday yet because I only see 3 days ahead. I don't see the full week. But if I stream and when I stream, it'll usually be around the same time every single time because it kind of works out well for most people. Obviously, I can't accommodate everyone, but it seems to be best to at least catch a good range of people's time zones. It's not that the vast majority of people are asleep or anything like that, so I will let you guys know in the community post. And you know, and this isn't a bit, I'm not doing the YouTuber thing where it's like, remember to hit subscribe and hit that bell and all of that. No, I'm genuinely saying, if you hit the bell on this channel, every single time I, schedule a live or go live, it'll send you a notification on your phone. And I think that would be the best way to just kind of be sure. You know, if you don't see the community post, just hit the bell. It should notify you.